Hello, everyone. Welcome to the monumentous 100th episode of ARG Presents. 100 episodes of ARG Presents. I am Amigo Aaron, joined by a man who I've suffered with through 80-some episodes. I give you the thorn in my side, the Brent. What's going on, man?
Aaron, if we add our ages, I'm 42 and you're what, 58? That's 100.
What? I'm not 58,
sorry
Spudhead.
about that.
Take off. So, there was no wheel. We did not make a deal for this. As you can see, honing into view is the big 100th episode. Thank you to the Dunk for a special intro, which you remind me of. It's a glorious 100 episodes. Brent, did you think we'd make it to 100 episodes?
No. I thought we'd kill each other by now.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, just in general conversation, we try to kill each other once, twice a week.
To be fair, we haven't made it to 101 yet.
That's true. This could be it right here on the show.
You brought me a hamburger, so you're off the hook here. So we thought today, just for fun, we would just kind of take a step back and look at some of our previous episodes and games and systems, just chat about them. You know, it's a funny thing about this show, and Brent sort of summed this up when we were being interviewed yesterday. Good, bad, or indifferent on this show. Once you do a system or a topic, that system or topic's gone, man, and you don't ever really get to talk about it again. It's a bizarre thing because for 1 week you're really into something, and then very often it never comes back. You know, so it's a strange thing to happen, but that's the show. You know, it's the show. So let's talk about the beginnings of the show.
The wee beginnings before good old Brent was even a part.
You know, when we were starting the show back in the day, Boat came to me and he said, because we had been doing Amigos for quite a while. This would have been early 2018. And he said, listen, we were talking about how it needed to be to do other stuff because Boat loves the Atari and I love a bunch of stuff. And I was like, you know, why don't, and we were talking about how we don't get to play all of our systems. And he was like, why don't we do something where we can play a bunch of different systems, different games.
Right.
And so I was like, okay. But I mean, we didn't want to do another Amigo show. And so I started thinking about wacky concepts to make it fun. And so I came up with the idea of getting a wheel. Originally, I was going to build a wheel, which would have been a lot more fun for me. But that never actually happened. With making of the wheel, but it would have been neat. So, but I think Boat found this wheel. This wheel was top dollar, by the way, as I recall.
Yeah, it's a good prize wheel. It's about $150 prize wheel.
And we went to work. Now, when we did the show originally, the system would come up, and what I had done is we printed out a bunch of different envelopes with the logos on them, and we would have a selection of games in the envelopes. And when the system came out, we would open the envelope and look at our games list and pick one of the games we'd pick. So we had to pick games for everything on the wheel, all right? Which was a dumb way to do it. It was not the...
the envelope thing presenting is probably pretty cool, but holy cow, that prep work is ridiculous.
Well, it's not just that. It's dumb. It didn't make any sense. But the reason we did it that way, there was some reason. Hell, I don't remember what it was. It was something to do with... having time to play a game or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly what my reasoning was behind it because that was my idea as well. So that was a dud. And then we took off, and me and the Boat did episodes all the way up to
16.
Here. Yeah, it was 16, which was the last episode me and Boat took on. I believe was the BBC Micro.
That's correct.
And then Boat was telling me that he just was not having that much fun, and he was tired. You know, a lot of people don't realize. I mean, I think a lot of people do, but Boat is he works hard during the week
and for his money.
Yeah, he works hard during the week to do the stuff that I either can't do, won't do, or don't do, which is stuff like web stuff. He gets with all the guys in the Brain Trust, Jason Warrens and all those guys, and they get in there and do all kinds of web stuff. And I don't know what they're doing. And then
and they're awesome, by the way.
Yo,
super good. Because I've said before in the Discord, it's like the fact that you guys can do this is amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that you guys do this is spectacular.
Yeah. But I don't know how to do this. And also, when it comes to social media, I was in charge of the Google Plus account, which was, hey, that was great.
You successfully crashed the entire platform.
Yeah, I loved Google Plus, and I thought I was doing a good job. I had built up a pretty good audience of followers on Google Plus for a little show, And I did Amigos Google Plus thing too. Well, but the show was just it wasn't as popular as the Amigos. It was hard to draw an audience. Because it was a different game every week, and it just didn't do a whole lot numbers wise. And so Bo was like, let's end this sucker. And I was like, oh, come on, Bo, I kind of like doing this show, He's like, well, I'll tell you what, you can do it. And I was like, well, why don't I see if the Brent's interested in doing it? And you were, and
I was suckered because the very first game that I have to play is Pinball Fantasies on the Jaguar. That's pretty good. And Busby for the Jaguar, and that's really bad.
Bugsy was not good. And you kind of rolled in, and we kicked it off from there. So that was episode. So you came in was episode 17.
That was it.
So you've been here for what is that? How many episodes is that? 87, 83.
Aaron, go back to Math Munchers.
Oh man, don't make me do it. Make me do that. So he's been here for a while.
And do you know something that was very special about episode 18?
18? What was that?
My deal for doing the show was I get to pick a topic that we do. We don't spin, we just do.
Yeah.
And that was the only topic that we've ever had on the show that was just hand-picked, not wheel-picked.
Yeah.
And I picked the Famicom disc system because I had some stuff I wanted to say about it.
Horrible.
No, it was fun. It was a fun system.
I'm going to look into what I played on there. So we played Doki Doki Panic and Falcyon.
Yes,
I believe
Falcyon.
I picked Falcyon, and it was okay. But that was, and then we were off and running.
You did not. You picked Doki Doki Panic.
Did I pick Doki Doki Panic? Oh, that's the Mario 3
2.
Yeah. Listen, it's how many episodes ago was that?
This is what I have to deal with, folks.
I remember. Jesus Christ, man. So. Let me ask you now. I've got a couple lists here. I printed out all the episodes that we've done in order.
Sure.
And then I printed out the episodes we did in popularity on YouTube because I thought it'd be fun to look back. But just before we get into lists and numbers and all this crap, what were your initial thoughts going into the episode where you took over? And did you watch the show before when Bo was on here? Were you watching it before that?
I did. Episodes, especially after I was told I was taking over, to kind of get a feel of what was going on.
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous because I had nothing to gain or lose by trying to join the show. And I know I can talk. I know I can blabber about just about anything.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And being in front of a camera means nothing to me for the most part. So it was me coming on here and get to share my passion in front of a camera for the idols of history to judge. I was pretty for it.
Yeah. Plus, you got to enter all your crazy little bits that you haven't done a bit for a while.
But here's the thing with bits. If you do them too often, they fall apart.
They fall apart when you do them not often.
Well, that's true.
Horrible.
Well, some of the bits were great.
Now, just before I said, I want to get into the list. I just want to talk about some of your the high points and low points from our perspective. I mean, I fully understand that for everyone else's perspective, that all can be a low point. But one thing we've had on this show, it seems like from the second we started the show, one thing I should mention is that Boat took care of all the production and still does on the Amigos. He does all the production in Sinclair, Coco Show. That's all Boat doing all that stuff. And so I'm an idiot and had no idea what to do. And so the only time I'd ever filmed an episode of my own is one time Boat was out of town. Said I covered, I think it was Lotus 3 on my own. and I shot it in my room with the webcam. And I tried to make it looked like double X garbage.
It was really bad.
And so that was really the only time I'd done any filming or anything. We didn't have any lights. We didn't have anything.
Yeah.
And so,
well, Amigo Studio East didn't exist.
Right. And so when we first came in here and shot in the arcade, we just took the webcam, put it on the back of a seat, and sat down here. And one thing that perpetually haunted us was, well, at first it was bad. At first it was bad lighting, bad video, and bad sound. And also, I should also mention that I didn't get the ratio right on stretching of the screen. So on a lot of the early episodes, we're all squat and weird looking. It's too dark. They're grainy. But everything you could do wrong, I think I did.
But if you take away the video, the audio, and the content, it was the best video podcast we've ever had.
Yeah. And then slowly, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, now it's the best. We are great. So that's not true.
By comparison, it is the best.
I think we have shown marked improvement over the years. One of the things that has perpetually haunted this show was hideous audio. And it seems like endlessly we've been adjusting the audio to get it right.
I mean, that up to like 4 episodes ago.
Yeah, and so we think we got it now, but that's something that haunted us forever. It just drives me nuts, and it's so hard. And what made it worse is when you were when you're in there fighting to get do something entertaining, and you think you do, and then the audio and video sucks.
Yeah,
that's the worst.
Some of our best episodes had such poor audio that I can't even go back and play it on double speed and enjoy it.
Oh, wow. You give us the double speed treatment as well?
I give it. Well, don't feel bad. I do that with everything.
Now, something else that we fight every day is, of course, we're here in the arcade, and if it rains in the arcade, it's like Gregory Hines and Sammy Davis Jr. are tap dancing upstairs. I mean, it's nonstop loud, and when you're live, there's nothing you can do about that. So we've had many episodes. I'd say probably at least 6 episodes where it was rained through the whole episode or rained through part of the episode.
And since our roof is 10 at Amigo Studio East, it is so loud that it drowns out the audio of us talking.
Yeah, so not a bad thing, really, in retrospect. It is loud. And sometimes it gets windy, too, and you can even hear that. Or another thing they'll have occasionally is a guy be mowing his lawn.
Yep.
So I know it, but I mean, this is the only place, this is by far the best place we've got to shoot. And over the years, we've gotten pretty lucky. I've gotten pretty good at taking that sound out of the audio whenever I can. Something else that's plagued us here and continues to plague us, and we're hoping it doesn't hit us today, is hideous, horrible, hillbilly ISP internet providers.
Yes.
Bo was always a big proponent of doing the show live. Well, we never did it live.
Yeah, we always recorded.
I don't know when the first time we did one live, but it was probably, in the 60s or 70s?
It was about in the 65, 70 range,
it's not like we've been going live the whole time, but we kind of like it now. Brent, you really like it, don't you?
Yeah, I like going live.
It's fun to have the instant feedback. So when someone says, listen, you suck, you can tell right away. It's right there in front of you. But it's nice to have that. And so we enjoy that. Well, we were having a good time. Our first couple live shows were actually by our standards, were pretty good. And then, of course, we got to touch on the infamous movie video games episode, which got our entire channel kicked off YouTube. I know you've probably heard about
YouTube Live.
Kicked off YouTube Live, and we are still in YouTube jail. Now, I was idiotically, I thought we were in the 6-month layoff, but I've been told it was a 90-day suspension. So we should be
it's 90-day suspension if you go and take their class.
Oh.
Otherwise, it's 6 months.
Well, we'll go out for 6 months. Can you imagine that YouTube litigation, like copyright class? I'd go. I'd be throwing spit wads at the board the whole time.
Well, no, it's online, doofus.
That's not the same.
You're throwing spit wads at the screen.
That's right. I'm putting a tack on the teacher's seat. So that was not a happy day. That ended that live stream in a hurry. If you go back and watch that one, because I had to go back and re-edit it a lot to make it work, and my face, I was jovial, I was stoic. It was like
I remember you were like pat, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, once Brent gets started, you can't shut him down. So that was a low point, I'd say, in the old show. That wasn't the lowest point for you?
No, absolutely not. Some of our hideous audio during the rainstorms that literally drowned it out. That was our low point.
It's funny when that happens because it does kick you in the gut.
Because
it's not as bad when you're not live, but when you're doing them live, you're screwed.
When you're doing it live and that the rain, I mean heavy rain kicks up, and you just know, at that point you just know all your podcast listeners are just going like click, nope, and they might never come back. Yeah. It hurts. And you can't, I mean, could we stop and completely refilm them? Yes, but also no, because the live feed's already out there. And most people want to see the live feed. That's why we try to go live whenever we can. So it's a double-edged sword. Do you have 2 shows floating out there? What's that going to do to your audience?
Which we did that.
Yeah, we have done that before.
We did that one time and it didn't go too good. The truth of the matter is, and we talked about it, it's funny we talked about this today. We didn't go into this, Brent. The people in live chat know, but this show today is 6 hours late. And the reason it's 6 hours late is because there was a mighty, mighty windstorm last night that blew power and internet out for the entire town and part of other towns. And I think there were 14,000 people.
No, 1,400.
No, in the tri-state area.
Oh, yes.
That were without internet and power. And so this morning when it was time to do the show, there was no internet or power. So I was like, no show for us. And so we're getting 6 hours in. But we've had one of the things about the ARG Presents is it's been hard to get that momentum going. Whenever you have a real good show, it seems like something always happens with the production or something like that. But this show is funny, and we talked about this briefly earlier, in that unlike, say, Amigos, where it's a very stable, numbers are pretty stable. This show really doesn't. It wildly fluctuates, which me and Boat sort of knew that was going to happen when we started it, because it just, some people can't wait to hear about the C16, but some people don't give 2 flying craps about, say, the Wonder Swan color, for example, which, hey, the wheel,
the wheel giveth and the wheel taketh away.
And I don't think we have ever cheated ever on the wheel.
Except for the super.
That wasn't a cheat, though. We knew
that was a skip of the wheel.
That was sort of a.
Oh yeah, we don't rig the wheel.
No.
As much now we have recorded a wheel spin, and then something happened to the video that we have to physically spin the wheel again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really call that cheating, because otherwise you're just spinning continuously until it comes out naturally.
Once. Yeah.
And it wasn't. We didn't kill the video because of the wheel spin. It was during the presenting of the wheel spin, the video cut out, and we had to redo it.
Yeah. One thing's for sure, if you go back and watch any of these shows, you'll pretty much know the wheel spins are legit, because often we cringe.
Yes, or jump
celebrate.
Around. Yeah.
In fact, you fall apart quite often on a bad spin.
I've had some bad experiences, yeah.
And you often will spin the exact same thing we put up, which I've always found pretty interesting.
I'm good at that as well. You're correct.
So, I've got this list here. I want to jump into this real quick.
Is that our most popular and least popular?
This is our most popular, and I'm going to quiz you. You may know,
all right,
but I hope you haven't looked these up.
I have not looked the numbers up.
Just because figuring out how to do this was nigh impossible.
All right, fair enough.
It might be fun for the chat too if you're lingered around. Let's start off, Brent. What do you think? And now keep in mind, older episodes will have higher numbers by default, but that all comes out, really. I mean, there's a clear-cut winner and a clear-cut loser here. What do you think the all-time most popular, most viewed on YouTube show was that we did? And let's see if anybody in the chat wants to give it a whirl. And now keep in mind, we've been doing these since February of 2018, so we've done a few of these things.
Well, here's my thinking. It's going to be something that was A, already popular, B, a transition of the show. Either you guys had just started it, or I had just came on, or there was a great improvement in audio, or something outside the show that brought more people to the channel. I'm going to say, but it's an Amiga first channel, so I'm going to say the CD32.
You're correct.
Oh, bam!
That is correct. That was the most popular episode. Now you were mentioning that the earlier episodes would have more views. It's funny. I'm looking over the list here. And they're only, of the top 10 most watched shows that we had, only one of the boat episodes is in there, and it's the very first one.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm surprised by that.
That was surprising to me. Yeah, it's funny. One thing me and Boat did, and it was a joint venture, is when Boat would name these things, the name of the episode would be like something other Volume 2 or Volume 3, but he would combine the names of the games we were playing into one weird name. And then he would make this real clever picture of them, right?
Yeah, it was a ton of effort.
Yeah,
that would have been great, except it made searching and looking for things harder.
Yeah, if you look at what the name of the episode is, you're like, and I mean, I think you might have been able to pull this off later on, but it was tough early on because no one knew what the hell was going on with those. So I thought that was it was clever, but Bode also, I mean, eventually he stopped doing that.
Yeah,
because it didn't think it was working. So I'm looking at the list here, Brent. Now, what would you think would be our least popular episode? Now, I'm going to throw out a couple. The episode we did on the Sega 32X was one that got split in half, so I'm not going to count that one because the views are half.
And you can't count the Xbox episode because it was the audio was tweaked and re-uploaded.
Okay.
And you can't count. There was another one that happened to, but of fair shot, it has to either be the Wonder Swan, Black and White, or one of the pinball episodes. So I'm going to say no. It's either going to be Black and White, Wonder Swan, or board games.
It's none of those.
It's none of those.
It's none of those. No.
Then I don't know.
So it's funny. I'll give you a hint. We just talked about that on our interview last night. We talked about the episode when we talked to the Coco Talk guys, and the answer to this is it was the handheld games episode.
Oh, okay.
That is the least popular episode we ever did. It was episode 81, Digital Derby and Burger Time Mini Arcade.
Yeah.
Which I think you dropped the ball on that one. Burger Time Mini Arcade was a weak effort, in my opinion. I never liked it anyway. So going back, because we've done, and if you want, I can give you a list to kind of look over to remind you.
No, I've got a list here.
What do you have any high points? Let's talk about the high points of games and machines. Were there machines you liked, but the games weren't great, or vice versa, or something that really blew you away?
I can give you 3 right off the top of my head.
Okay.
My number 1 favorite system, Sam Coupe.
Yeah, the Sam Coupe. We really liked that episode.
It was a crazy system that really took us by surprise, and the games for it were horrible. My game was okay. Your game was absolute trash.
What? I don't remember it that way.
The second favorite episode that was neither a good...
That was episode 52, by the way. I played Bowen and the Count Dracula, and you played Blast Turbo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't we talk to the author of Blast Turbo?
We did. And it was odd. Here's a little story for those that don't know. We did the Blast Turbo on the Sam Coupe, and the author of the game posted on the YouTube a comment section, and he said, "Oh, guys, thanks for reviewing my game. That was a long time ago. Like, I'm glad that one of you liked it and one of you didn't. Your criticisms are founded for the control scheme. I was trying to be edgy and cool, and this was all stuff he posted." And we were like, "Oh man, that's awesome!" And we asked him a follow-up question on the YouTube comments. From that, he not only deleted his comments, he deleted his YouTube account after that. So those comments are gone. They're lost to time.
He did. What'd you do to this guy?
And I think the only thing I can think of is also in that episode with the Sam Coupe, they had gold processors.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he is an owner of one of those gold processors. And we were talking about the value of them. And I wonder if something he revealed in his comments was something he wasn't supposed to say, and he just nuked it from orbit.
Wow. I mean, the Sam Coupe people have that kind of jack? They leaned on him. Listen, Sam wants to talk to you. He's not happy.
I'm sorry, Mr. Coupe. My third most memorable episode.
What was the first one again?
The first one?
Yeah, what was your first most memorable episode? You said your third. You said the Sam Coupe, so what was the first one?
The Sam Coupe, shoot.
It wasn't that memorable.
Now I'm trying. I don't want to lose what my third one is, so I'm trying to think.
Well, just skip the first one and go right to the third one.
Well, these aren't in any order.
Okay.
And my absolute favorite running thing with this show is Yeti games. both the
Jesus.
positives and the negatives.
There are no positives to that.
No, yes, there is. We did Urban Yeti, which was
there it is.
which was a great episode. It had some really memorable and funny lines about me looking up and trying to find the Yeti, and you said I'd only find him at the dump.
Yes. It seemed appropriate at the time.
And Urban Yeti was not a great game. However, we played a game later that was just called Yeti, and it was fantastic. It was one of these hidden gems that you find maybe 3 or 4 times in your lifetime. You stumble across a game that no one's ever heard of. There's no videos of it. And you get to present this to the world of how awesome a game this was for back in the day. And everybody really took up on that, and the community agreed, and everyone loved playing Yeti. So that
I like
was
the fact that you can play a Yeti with just one exe file, too. That makes
Yes.
it a lot easier to... You don't have to go through and load up a bunch of crazy stuff. You just go in there and play it. It's always like Yeti was a great game. I agree with that one. It was was the Thompson that we played the Yeti
Thompson
on?
M05.
Yeah, the
That's
Thompson
right.
in 05, and that was I'd say that was one of my favorite games. That one, by the way, was episode 84.
Yeah,
Thompson M05.
I'm not going to say go back and watch all our episodes, but please do it. But if you're ever gonna if this is your first episode or you just happen to stumble across this, go check out 84. We talk about Yeti on that. The Thompson is an incredible machine. It has some great history. Also, one last thing I love is when we do a game that someone's user or listener says, "Hey, I let my kid play this and they loved it."
Yeah, Graham.
Yes, Graham is the king of this because he shows this stuff to his children, and he's got little kids, under teen, pre-teen.
They're not that little, but yeah.
And we're taking something that was popular and meaningful when we were teens or pre-teens and giving it to a generation lower. That means something to me. I really feel that.
I understand that. I had several stand episodes. I guess I'm a sucker for dressing up.
Yeah.
Because some of the episodes I really liked were like, I loved our Midway Arcade Games episode, which did not do well. It was not one of our more popular episodes, where we played, I believe we played a Sinistar, and what was that crazy game we played?
Marathon Runner.
With the racing.
Gnomes!
The gnomes. That was a fun episode. This was one that surprised me, but I enjoyed it, was the TI-99 4A episode where we did, where we got dressed up like cowboys.
Yeah.
And we played a couple really good games for the TI. That was a surprise. I thought that was a lot of fun. And also, I liked our 70s arcade game episode.
Yeah.
I got to have hair. That was cool.
I dressed up as the trucker.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Those episodes were good. I have to say, a lot of the episodes I end up liking are episodes that I'm sure I'm going to hate.
Yeah.
Stuff like the Thompson and the Auric, the Super Cassette Vision comes to mind. Of course, that's fresh in my mind. It's also fun to go back and look at systems that I have some experience on. This show was very pivotal in the creation of the Coco show, which we're doing now, because we got very good responses when we did the Coco games, plus the Dragon game the Dragon episode we did on Dragon 32. And I had so much fun playing that stuff, and I was like, man, I can really get back into this. And me and Boat, I talked about it, and I did a playthrough or something one time. It was really not even a good job by me, and I put it up on YouTube, and it did real well. And I was like, Bo, we could really probably have a decent audience here with the Coca and have some fun. And so that's sort of what kicked that off. So that was kind of a good time. Now, which systems and or games did you find the most disappointing or revolting in some way?
Oh my gosh, what was that? Microcosm for the CD32? Is that the name of it?
You didn't like that?
Aaron, I gave it a 0. It made me physically ill playing it because of all the flashing.
Good.
And I'm not someone who has those seizure things.
I'm turning the corner on that game.
But this game flashed so much that my neck just broke.
Yeah.
This game flashed so much it made me physically ill. And it wasn't even a fun bad. It was just bad.
I don't think it's that bad. I think you're being a little hard on it. FM Towns Marty. We talked about it yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not a fan. The one that was really difficult for me was the Atari ST, which you wouldn't think that would be tough. I had a heck of a time playing those. The Atari Falcon and the Atari
Falcon,
ST.
yeah.
Well, listen, the Atari ST butchered Alcon.
It did.
That was a travesty, and that's one game I remember hating a ton. Horrible. But the Atari Falcon was real difficult to get a grip on from an emulation perspective. I had all kinds of trouble with that one. I didn't think we gave the Neo Geo a very good look. Like, I didn't like the games we played that much. That was way back, episode 20, and we picked League Bowling and Viewpoint. And the Neo Geo is such a great console. I didn't think that was necessarily a great. We didn't pick great games for that, so that's another one that stands out in my mind. By the way, the FM Towns Marty episode is episode 45. You remember you picked Camel Tree.
Yes.
And I picked Alone in the Dark, which was in Japanese, basically, so not the best one. Another one, a controversial episode, and I loved it, and I know you hated it, was the Action Max.
I didn't hate it, no.
You were dreading playing
I
that so
dreaded
much.
it. Until I found out I could basically play it on YouTube.
Well, can you? You can play it on YouTube?
Well, I mean, it showed... What is playing the Action Max?
You have to have the gun and stuff.
No, what is playing the Action Max?
You shoot the gun at the thing.
Exactly. I mean, I came over and played yours a little bit, but it was mostly for seeing all the videos. I just watched it on YouTube.
Another episode I really enjoyed was episode 51, which again was not one of our more popular episodes, but was on MMORPGs. Yeah. Little did I know that soon after we shot that, one of the games we looked at, City of Heroes, would actually come back to life.
Yes.
Which was great. It was a miracle. Because I watched that not too long ago, and I was like so sad that I never get to play that with my kid. And since then, I have gotten to play it with my kid multiple times. So
that's pretty amazing.
That's been a lot of fun. So we've talked about the episodes we thought weren't the best. So let's have a look here at the bottom 10. Just for fun.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Why so many?
Well, we don't have to go get all 10. But
let's just do the bottom 5.
So, we mentioned that handheld games was, all things considered, was the least popular. Coming in just below that, and this actually had a decent game in it, was the episode 87, the Emerson Arcadia 2001, Brent, which we played Jungler and Hobo. I remember Hobo being pretty good.
Hobo was a good game. Yeah.
Then you've got the episode 86. That was
wait. I want to back up real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
It pains me that episode is among our worst. Now, it's kind of recent. Maybe it'll pick up additional viewers.
Yeah.
What number was that, you said?
Which one? You talking about the Emerson?
Yeah.
87, yeah.
That needs some more love. We need to... Let's stop for a moment. Hobo was a decent game.
It was decent.
It was not great. It was not Yeti. But in a world of crap out there, because there's a lot of crap retro stuff, okay? Hobo was something that you go, they made a game about a hobo and it doesn't completely suck. 87, folks. Go take a look at that.
I'm looking at this. I'm looking up the list here. There's sort of a theme on some of these. So the next one on the list that's on up would be the episode 86. And so it was a real bad run for us. This was the Super Graphics console. We played Aldness and Battle Ace. And I remember this console sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, so, okay, don't go watch that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't very good. That's why it failed horribly. Yeah. It's hard to believe that was the sequel to TurboGrafx.
Yeah,
disaster.
It's sad. It's sad.
Now, I'm never going to live this one down. The next one in line, episode 57, Black and White games. Yeah. Now, listen, I thought I was being very clever when I picked a black and white pinball machine, but you and Bo give me no end of grief on that episode.
Yeah, that was a horror. It was a bad wheel piece with your
Who came
bad
up with that
game.
One? You. That's it. It was him.
It might have been. I'll take the responsibility.
Although Glider was a pretty good game.
Yeah.
And I think Centaur's a good pinball machine, but no one wanted to hear about it. And then just a couple more coming in from episode 82. The 80s were not good for us. Was at the Adventure Vision. We did every game, I believe. It was Super Cobra, Turtles, Defender, and Space Force.
I think a lot of the reason why that episode did so poorly is people didn't understand what we were trying to convey.
Were we trying to convey?
I mean, the way that worked with the spinning red lights.
Yeah.
That's an amazing piece of technology for the time. It was garbage.
Yeah.
But it was worth learning about, and it's unfortunate that we couldn't get more out there, to have more people pick up on that history. Maybe they will down the line. Maybe someday that episode will get a little more love. But it was really worth finding out about that system, and I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, well, it was an interesting system, that's for sure.
Yeah.
One that you really can emulate, and it would be awesome to actually have one of those. I'd like to have one. They're expensive. And then just a couple more here. Episode 74, the Fairchild Channel F. We did, again, this is sort of like the Adventure Vision, Dodge It and Video Whizball. This is one of the oldest systems, and it's not the best. I admit that.
I mean, it's just barely one step up from a Pong system.
Yeah.
But again, the history of the Fairchild is really interesting, and I encourage people at least listen to the history part. Listen to one of the games, maybe. It was. I'm glad we played it. I did not hate that.
Yeah.
I did. And now some of that, like the sequel to the TurboGrafx. That was crap.
Yeah.
The story about it was garbage. The system was hideous. The games on it were poop. But, if people aren't going to watch that episode, I'm not going to cry.
Yeah, I understand. So just a quick look, since we talked about the worst ones, we'll talk about some of the best ones here. Of course, we covered the Commodore Amiga CD32 at the top of the charts. This is an episode that I really enjoyed, and this actually was surprisingly popular for us. It's the second most popular, in fact. Episode 19, and this is early in your run, Brent. We covered the Sega CD, Battle Corps, and Eternal Champions Dark Side. I love me some Eternal Champions, and Eternal Champions Dark Side's awesome. And Battle Corps was interesting. It's not something I'd want to go out and play a lot.
It's a game that's gotten no press.
We had a lot of fun on that episode, though, and that's what I remember. And it does come up a lot. I don't know why. It took off. I don't know what it was. And it looks like grainy garbage. It's a problem. It's not that attractive of an episode.
That's one of those things. Battle Corp has an interesting story. The Sega CD, I think the story's been told 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But Battle Corp, at the very minimum, is not something I think a lot of people know about, because I know finding stuff about it was very difficult.
Yeah. Next in the line, this is our lone entry from me and the boat, which I'll talk about. Atari 8-bit computers. This is the very first episode, by the way. Mule and Caverns of Mars. Me and Boat played Mule over here at the house and streamed it a couple months ago. It's still a difficult game for me to fully grasp, but he loves it. And then Caverns of Mars is a pretty good, interesting
incredible
shooter.
game.
I think you played that last night.
We played it last night at Computer Club.
So
yeah,
I
really enjoyed it.
What are the odds that would come up? Then we've got, and we sort of touched on this one. It's hard to believe this is the fourth most popular episode according to YouTube. The Game Boy Advance episode 21, Wade Hickson's Counterpunch and Urban Yeti.
Urban Yeti, baby.
I liked Wade
Bringing
Hickson's
them in.
Counterpunch. I thought it was a pretty decent game. Urban Yeti was absolute trash.
But it was fun, man.
Trash.
That
and
was
the fact that you tried to get
fun.
that over, your overall standing in the community dropped several notches.
Urban Yeti taps an audience that isn't otherwise tapped.
Yeah.
Go watch the episode.
People that are too stupid actually control a Game Boy Advance.
No. It's a fun episode if you haven't watched it. What's the number on that one, Aaron?
That was episode 21.
21. First of all, we have some great back and forth in that episode, especially for being as early as it is. You don't get to learn anything terribly new unless you don't know about Wade Hickson's boxing. It's basically a punch-out game.
Horrible name.
And Urban Yeti. If you haven't heard of those two games, check out that episode.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a fun romp.
And then this surprised me. Our fifth most popular episode according to YouTube. It's funny because we just killed it. Atari Falcon, Road Riot, 4-wheel drive, and Radical Race.
No. I didn't kill it. You killed
That was
it.
all. Don't throw me under the bus, pal.
No, I didn't mind the Falcon. I thought it was easy to emulate compared to some of the stuff that's out there.
This was episode 92, so this was just like a couple
really
months
jumped
ago.
up there.
Yeah, it really went crazy.
An incredible story with the Atari Falcon. Talk about a fall from grace.
I think the Atari Falcon. I think one of the reasons that episode did so well is that the Falcon people are
passionate.
There's not much out there for coverage on that system. And it's because there's not a whole lot out there for it, and it really wasn't the easiest thing I've ever worked with or tried to learn about. It was, it's wacky. Then you have.
No, wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. I want to talk about the Falcon just a little bit.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Holy cow! This is a tragic story. This was really Atari's last hurrah for any intents and purposes.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know anything about the Atari Falcon, you said that was episode
92.
92.
Yeah.
Very interesting history on the machine. It really caps off the end of Atari. So if you want to learn something about that, certainly go check that out.
It caps it off all right. That and the Jaguar put them in the dirt.
It did. It really did.
I will say, it was interesting to learn that the Atari Falcon had a Jag game port on it. That was pretty wacky. That Falcon could have been a contender. It really could have. But I think Atari just... I'm an Amiga guy. What do you want me... So when it comes to those Atari computers, I like the 8-bit stuff, but the ST, so I just have trouble dealing with it. So next on the docket, the sixth most popular episode, the Sam Coupe episode. That's great. That was a volume 52. We looked at Blast Turbo and Bow and Count Dracula, like we mentioned. So we both love the Coupe. And that was another one we had no idea. I'd never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Found out about the gold processors that were
awesome.
sold to the upper echelon of the Sam Coupe people.
That was awesome.
The games, not that spectacular, but the system itself, holy cow, rich in history.
I use that thing as my base emulation system for a lot of Spectrum stuff because it does a good job. So you're not supposed to do that, but I do because it does a great job. Now this one surprised me a lot, Brent. I'll be honest with you. The seventh most popular, the Sharp X68000 volume. This is the 28th episode we did. This was Wings of Fury and Final Fight. That one, I wouldn't have expected that one to do so well, but the 68000 is a great. It's a great. It's a computer.
Great art. Yeah. It plays great arcade clones. Holy cow!
Yeah.
If you want a system that plays arcade clones, this is it. Wings of Fury,
a wacky game.
Super interesting fact about that game. It's the same port as all the other systems, and it was ported to many systems, except for. In Wings of Fury, since the Sharp 68000 is a Japanese system, you play as the Japanese attacking the Americans in World War II. It's one of the few games where that's a thing.
It's weird. That was a weird game. I've got that. That game came out on a lot of different. I think the Amigos
it did, but it was the Japanese system one. The 68000 was the only one where you play as the Japanese.
It's very strange.
That
was your pick on that show. Wasn't it?
That's an interesting story. That's another good. What number was that?
That was the seventh most popular at number 20, volume 28.
28. If you want to learn about how games differ from one region to the next, that's a huge difference. It's a really interesting story.
Yeah, I like that one as well. Now, the eighth most popular at number 8 here, which this was a fun episode too. The Dragon 32/64/Coco, volume 79. Indoor Football and Backtrack. These games blew me away. Indoor Football was incredibly good. You remember that?
Yes.
And Backtrack was good too. They were both really good games.
Yes.
And I had never played any of these, and so these were a lot of fun. I don't know, the Coco community is super duper educated.
Yes.
I mean, these guys are sharp as tacks.
Yeah.
They've seen it all. They've done it all. And I don't know how many people have played these games that were for the Dragon, I'd never heard of it or played them. And I believe we looked pretty hard to find Dragon stuff that was exclusively released overseas. But I don't know. But if you're a Coco guy, these work on the Coco, give these a shot. Both those games were a lot of fun.
Yeah, they were. And another thing with the Dragon, that's another system that I didn't know the system existed.
Yeah.
And now I'm glad it did. The Dragon doesn't have a super interesting tale. But the games that we picked out for it were amazingly surprising.
They want money now. They took all the off-the-shelf parts, made their own Coco, kicked Handy to the curb, renamed it. There you go.
And for anyone interested, that is
that was
episode 79.
Yeah. Now this one, here's another one that struck me as odd. Again, this is of all the episodes, this is number 9. The Neo Geo episode I talked about earlier, League Bowling and Viewpoint, volume 20. I like the Neo Geo a ton. And we both, like you mentioned, we both couldn't play Neo Turf Masters.
Yeah, that's right.
And I love fighting games, and so I regret not picking one of the hundreds of fighting games on that system. And I picked Viewpoint, which is an interesting game, but it's really hard. And in League Bowling, actually, I remember it being pretty fun.
I think the popularity of that episode really stems on how popular the Sega CD episode was before it.
Really?
I personally don't think there was anything special about that episode, nor do I think the games we covered were anything special.
Yeah.
And we did not really uncover anything amazing about the Neo Geo that you haven't heard a million times. Skip it.
Rounding out the top 10, your favorite, Brent, your very first episode, number 17, it's Atari Jaguar, Pinball Fantasies, and Bubsy, which, again, less said about those the better.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and watch it for historical purposes, I guess, because that's the only reason why I would ever go back.
I will say, looking down the top 20 here, it's more Coco, the point-and-click adventures episode, which that's crazy. That was a great episode. I really enjoyed going back and playing Gabriel Knight and Maniac Mansion. Yep. That was 77, if you're interested. Then, believe it or not, number 14, the FM Towns Marty. 45. Hey, listen, it was a fun episode. We had the car, Marty. The history part was a lot of fun.
I have never cursed so much trying to get an emulator.
It was
working.
Much worse when I had to try to get that thing going for the Thanks for Giving marathon.
Yeah, because it didn't
I just gave up. Yeah, I was like,
we tried so hard.
I couldn't capture footage.
Because someone wanted for us to do it on the Thanks for Giving marathon. Yeah. And we tried so hard, but every time we got the emulator running, it would crash OBS. And I mean, hard crash.
It's killing me, yeah.
And it got to the point where it was time to start the show, because we worked on it all the way up to the time to start the show, and we were like, we can't do it. We'll just have to talk about it, because I mean, we had to pick games that we could play on other systems. Very sad, but man, that thing's a beast.
I'm gonna throw a few more names out here. Just give me a quick impression of each, just to round it out, because I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. We did the next in line would be the TI-99-4A episode.
Loved it.
That's volume 46. That was a lot of fun. And by the way, Tombstone City a lot better and deeper than we would have anticipated.
Absolutely.
That was your choice on that one. Number 16, the Action Max episode. That was volume 33.
Had fun movies, fun to make fun of. MST3K style.
That was exactly what I was going to say. In fact, 38 Ambush Alley is straight up horrible.
Garbage.
And Ghost was all bad. Then we've got the Odyssey 2 in there at volume 22. That was a lot of fun.
Very memorable.
By the way,
system.
Looney Balloon was a great game. You chose
Absolutely
that out of nowhere.
Great.
Yeah, I really liked that one. Number 19, this makes me happy. The Auric 1 computer. This one we had nothing on, and we were just dumbfounded. And we played Zorgon's Revenge and Doggy.
Yeah,
if you'll recall, that was episode 83. And then to round it out, the Atari Lynx episode, which we actually played one of the worst games I've ever seen, Crazy Eights Miniature Golf.
Yes. Now, what episode number was that?
That was volume 29. We also played Todd's Adventures in Slime World, which is really good.
Episode 29, guys. There was a game for the Atari Lynx that was commercially released, but only available for mail order purchase, that is so bad that it has to be seen and heard about to be believed. Unbelievable. At Crazy Eights Golf, I had a fun.
Super expensive as well.
It is, yeah, because it's for people who want a full collection of Lynx games. That's basically the hard one to get.
Yeah.
There's a couple other ones, and we go into it on the episode.
It's that game was hideous. It was unplayable, frankly. I mean, it was for the most part, it was absolutely horrible game.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna bring this thing we're gonna start winding her up, Brent.
Well, I have a few announcements.
Yes, that's where I was going. So Brent told me, he's like, listen, you need to have. What was it? I need to come up with 2 announcements.
You need to come. So I came out with 3 announcements. Right now.
I announced that.
No way.
We made it, and I also announced I'm going to eat this here hamburger.
That's horrible. Those are horrible, Aaron. I have some real announcements for the people that someone out there might care about.
Okay. I want to hear these, because I don't know what his announcements are. You know they're going to be golden.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I have no idea.
Well, that's funny, because I'm looking at the text messages back from you.
Yeah.
To make sure I'm getting all this right.
My retention's not that good. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, no, I have. I really have.
I had to have this sheet of paper to remember the 100 episodes of ARG Presents. It's not like I got to memorize.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so what do you got for us here? I'm ready.
Entertain the folks for just a second, because I want to get this right.
Brent, let's look and see who we got to chat while we're waiting for you to mess around. We've got a lot of our usual suspects in here. We got L. Curtis, our man, the man of the cocoa. We got Rushi, who sent you that lovely gift right there.
Yes,
dude.
Awesome gift. I can't wait to get that thing working.
We got the Dunk, Commander Graphics, if I may say. Bark Bit, my good buddy. He was my Secret Santa guy. I sent him some goodies.
Did you see
got the card
that my lovely wife gave us 500 biddies.
Oh boy, what's that? I don't know what those are.
That is $500. That's $5.
Whoa! Thank you, Terry.
That is
This is the best episode ever.
That's $5 for us on our 100th anniversary, and I thank her greatly for that.
I saw Jason Warren's in the house.
Yeah, we
which
got
is awesome.
We got a lot of good people out.
I see that
for a show that we pulled off last minute.
Picard was in here right out of the gate. He's always the first pony in the stall.
Okay, here are the announcements.
Okay, go ahead.
Announcement number 1, and I think everyone already knew this was going to be a thing. Thanks for Giving Marathon went so smoothly this year that we are going, or last year, that we are going to be doing another one this year. Same bat time, same bat channel.
We are?
Yes, we are.
I didn't know that announcement.
We are the day after the American Thanksgiving, which is
screw the other Thanksgivings. It's American.
Times to be announced, but we will be doing another 12-hour marathon for the kind folks out there to really just say thanks for all that they do for us. I mean, the amount of gifts and monetary donations that we receive is staggering. It's staggering.
We may actually announce this one as opposed to just kind of doing it.
Yeah. The second thing I want to announce, no one's been asking for it, but it's going to happen anyway. ARG branded merchandise is going to become available in February.
Amazing, because I've been pushing that. How long that's been on our closing reel about buying ARG merch, and we've never had one single bit of merch.
Yeah,
the wheel is cool looking. I'm telling you, I want one of those.
I'm going to be putting together some merchandise, and we are probably going to be selling it out of printerstudio.com. They have some incredible shipping rates worldwide that we can't get from a lot of other places, and this will allow people to get something without getting completely creamed on shipping.
This will allow you to fulfill your lifelong fantasy, Brent, to have me on the front of your shirt going like this, and Brent on the back of the shirt going like this.
I assure you that will not be the design.
That's the shirt, #1 shirt. Print it.
So
you can walk with me anywhere you go. If you get lonely or sad, just go like this, and there'll be me going, whoa.
Well, either
that's a winner.
It'll either make you reflect and go, yeah, I don't need to jump off this bridge, or send you tumbling right over the edge.
You'll be like, look at this guy. It can be worse. I think I can make it.
Yeah, but we're gonna do shirts. I'm working on
kimonos,
some other things like lanyards. Stuff that's not so intrusive to your life that your wife will kick you out of the house for having magnet style type stuff like lanyards for work. I really want to put together a deck of cards that's actually going to be branding across the all 4 channels, but hopefully that's going to be coming the end of February.
Miniature wheels
and
everything.
One last major announcement.
Oh yeah.
That is actually going to change the show starting right now. On the wheel.
I don't like where this is going.
We are adding a retro rewind space.
Okay.
Currently, it is occupied with the TI-99/4A computer. This is how this is going to work. Because now we have 100 pie pieces at our disposal. That are pre-made. And we're still going to be producing more. We're always going to be producing more. But for one slot, one spin every week, we are going to take a piece out of our archives and put back in the wheel. If it gets spun, great. We're going to be doing that episode again. New games, new facts on the machine, whole 9 yards. If it doesn't get spun, I'm sorry. That gets pulled off the wheel, and a new one will be taking its place.
Oh, so no matter what happens, it gets yanked.
That is correct.
So at some point, it'll get back into rotation 100 spins later.
Well, possibly correct. So the retro rewind wheel piece, like I said, for this week is the TI-99/4A computer.
All right.
Now, Aaron, you want to give us a little wheel music?
I do. So now is it time to spin the wheel? It is
time to spin the wheel.
All right, there it is. All right, I'm going to spin this sucker.
No, you're not.
Let me spin it.
No.
What?
No.
I don't get to spin it? No. You always say my spins suck.
Do you remember the last time you touched the wheel?
No.
The piece went flying, and you called the wrong piece.
That was you. You're the
No.
one that sent the piece flying. That was
No.
a couple weeks ago. Lies. Fine, you spend it then. Be a jerk.
I will. Oh, I'm sorry, TI-99.
Oh, it hit the bricks, did it?
Instead, we'll be looking at the Sharp MX computer.
The Sharp MX. Well, what do you know about that?
I don't know if it's a computer or not.
This is one of those desperation pieces that we've avoided for a year.
Yes, it is. Oh, desperate times.
Well, that's... there you go. We would, of course, like to thank our good friend, the amazing Duncan Styles.
Yes.
For providing, and he provided even a new ARG 100 backdrop, which we just love. We love all the backdrops, and the opening is great. We'd also like to thank our good buddy, the Bark Bit. Both these guys are in chat right now, I believe.
Yes.
Who provide our cool closing tune. Any final thoughts before we kick down the road on this thing?
I want to highlight one more person, Graham. He is always there for a user review, and him introducing things to his children really warms my heart.
Yeah,
really warms my
Graham,
heart.
you know, I wanted to mention this on Amigos, and I totally forgot. Just a shout out to all our friends down in Australia who are just getting hammered down there. It's horrible.
It is.
The fires are horrible. You know, we get some forest fires up here on occasion, but nothing to the main. That trumps even the California stuff. It's just
absolutely
super nasty. So much love to our folks down under, and hopefully they can corral these ugly things. And let's hope this is one of those once in a lifetime events.
Agreed.
Because that's horrible. But yeah, Graham, and if you've ever sent us a review, we appreciate it. And hey,
all the goodies and all of the monetary donations.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I do want to mention one more thing before we go off the air here. As you know, Aaron, we have transferred all of our audio library for this show to Anchor.
Yeah.
Anchor does allow. We didn't want to open a new Patreon for ARG. We didn't want to open.
No.
That wasn't what this show was about. This show is really, because sometimes we come out and we give crap episodes.
Mostly him.
And
I'm always on.
This is more of a show where we just get on here, we learn together, we have fun together, and that we
fail together.
That's right. It's a give back. However, if you do want to show your support just for ARG, get on Anchor, listen to our episodes on there. And you can even become a supporter of us through Anchor, where you give $1 or $5 a month, or you can even do a one-time donation thing, and that just comes straight to the ARG channel, and we'll put it into Amigo Studio East, or however you want to see it spent. To be honest, so if you want to support ARG specifically, that is one way you can do it. Plus, Anchor is actually a really good platform. They allow us to do chapter breaks in our episodes. So when you're listening to a ARG Presents now, if your pod listener allows chapters, you can skip straight to the second game.
Which, don't do that.
You can, and you should sometimes. That just allows you, if you've already heard about one game so many times you don't want to hear it anymore, just hit skip and you're right to the next game. It's an awesome way to enjoy the episodes a little bit more.
This means you're going to be opening the show with your games for the next 100 episodes. Because we don't want you skipping your boy A. I've got something to say. I got a voice.
So, again, thank you for 100 episodes. I hope we're here for at least another 100.
It's a mixed blessing. I got to come in here and work with you for 100 more episodes.
That's
My God. Well, listen, my heartfelt love and I really appreciate you guys supporting us. I feel like this is the little show that couldn't, but we're trying. We're still in there trying, and we're having. The one thing about this show is we're having a good time, man.
That's it.
We just want to have fun with the community and have a good time. We're not angling. We're just having some fun.
That's it.
And we appreciate y'all coming along for the ride and being very kind to us and very, very kind, given our various screw ups. So have a good time. Next week we're gonna get it on with some Sharp MZ.
I believe that's it.
Until then, adios.